World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma here. Let me cast a bit of light on the situation. Apologies, that was not prepped before. But yes, here I am. This is a midweek video as always, so it's another look what I've been watching. So where we go through what physical media I've decided to watch in the past 7 days, or finish in the past 7 days as it is in this case. And already given away the top one there. Do the silly smile, maybe that is a bit too bright. Let's cut that, there you go, maybe let's cut that off. That's probably apologies if you come for a bit too bright there. We, as it's getting dark in these later weeks, maybe we don't need it just yet. I'm shiny enough. So yes, so this is where I go through what physical media I watched in the past week. I do not cover online stuff. I may mention the odd bit that I may have streamed, but mostly it is physical media, and I go in reverse order. So you may have seen I picked this up very recently. So this is the Steelbook edition of Looper. There it is, a very nice front cover. I will show you, I'll probably show it again. So yeah, I really like the front cover. The back not so much. Obviously it is the kind of image I think was on, and obviously quite plain inside. Yeah, I say I watched this movie last night. This is the last one I watched. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than what I thought I would. It is, because it kind of deals with time travel, and I didn't even realise who directed it. Obviously Rian Johnson from Knives Out and obviously Star Wars. But it is such a kind of, when I think of this, I'm always like, oh, it's a Bruce Willis, it's time travel. But actually it's more Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He takes a lot more of a centre stage of this story. There are a few little actors and actresses that pop up. I didn't realise before. Emily Blunt being one, Gareth Dillahunt is in it. I quite enjoy his character. It's a shame he is a character doesn't have much of a screen time for obvious reasons. And I like, kind of most time travel stories have their own of what happens, and this is a very much an unconventional time travel movie in my eyes, and it doesn't necessarily go where you think, but it all makes sense, and it's kind of how I always say the evolution of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, and kind of the whole bigger good kind of scenario that comes into play. So next up we have Scoob. So this is one I did watch when it came out. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I was ashamed that obviously they made the second one and then cancelled it, and we never got to see it, and it was basically a tax write-off, which is very much a shame. It is a great movie, and not only because as it's a Scooby-Doo, and it's kind of bringing it to the forefront with obviously having Blue Falcon and Dynamite in the equation, but the fact they're bringing other Hanna-Barbera characters like Dick Dastardly and Muttley and Captain Caveman and stuff like that. I didn't like Tracy Morgan's voice. He really grates on me, but I like the fact they had Captain Caveman, and the fact they were bringing more of the Hanna-Barbera back. I mean, this was released in the early days of COVID, which is why it didn't do well, which is understandable because no one was really going to cinema because there was a disease, there was a condition out there that was killing people. It makes current sense when it went home to streaming. It did really well at streaming, so I don't think the cinema profit can really justify this, but it's a great story. My only kind of watching it the second time round is kind of the ending is a little bit, there's a sacrifice, but it's not a sacrifice, and I wish they kind of made that a little bit more different personally, because it's kind of like the whole killing someone up but they're not dead and vice versa. But it is what it is. So the next one is Red Lights. So this is, funnily enough, on my previous girlfriend, before obviously my wife, she took me to the cinema to see this, and it was in the days where I wasn't massively going to the cinema due to other reasons, because obviously my girlfriend lived down London and I was travelling between London and Northampton quite a lot. I just had other stuff on, and we used to do more stuff than what you do in younger life when you have money and you don't have a house and you're trying to save and stuff like this. So this is essentially Cillian Murphy and Sigourney Weaver. They basically debunk paranormal activity, or Sigourney Weaver does, and Cillian Murphy's her assistant. Then you have Robert De Niro here in the corner or in the middle, and he basically plays a blind person who is supposedly of paranormal, and it's all about him coming out of retirement after 30 years and these two wanting to cut, or Cillian Murphy want to kind of debunk and Sigourney Weaver, and then it comes down to story. And when I watch this at the cinema, I actually come out really enjoying this. It has a very clever twist at the end. Now, it literally made its budget, I think it was like 14 million to make, and or 40 million to make, and it made like 40.1 million. So it was seen as a flop, and a lot of people said it wasn't that great. I actually thought it was quite a clever story. You know, I think the ending, no one really sees it coming, and it's very clever in that way. And when you look back on it and notice a few things, but that is just me. Then we go next up, so Anacondas. So for some reason I thought this was Anaconda and was like, oh, well, where's Jennifer Lopez? And it actually is Anacondas, and the little tiny Hunt for the Blood Orchid. I think it's, yeah, Hunt for the Blood Orchid is the second one. So do like a creature feature. I picked this out because obviously there will be, hopefully this year, I will do an ensemble of my creature feature movies and which ones I like and don't like. But quite thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's surprising how many famous people there were in this movie. And stuff like Morris Chestnut in there. There is a guy that was in The Good Doctor and stuff like this. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, the CG is a bit bad and it has a few things going on, but it makes sense. Supposedly, this kind of fits in tied with the first Anaconda movie, and obviously there's a third one, I think, as well. So I do want to actively search out the other ones of this movie series and collect them. But yeah, I did enjoy rewatching that. I don't mind the creature feature movies, and I say, to be honest, it seemed to have quite a big budget, and I quite enjoyed it. And then the final one is this. So this is what my wife calls winter movies. So this is a box set I got for £12 for CX a few months back. Might have been a little bit longer, and I've only got round to watching it. I've kind of watched one or two movies the past few weeks, and then I watched, I think, the past 5, mostly with my wife over last weekend and the beginning of this week. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. To be honest, when I think back to Harry Potter, after watching it maybe once, maybe the odd few bits on TV, I enjoyed it, but I didn't think much to it. Having rewatched it all in close succession, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the story. I think it's done really well, the acting, this stuff. And I mean, for movies that were produced one per year, and how good most of the special effects are, there are a few questionable bits, but how a lot of it's done, I thought was actually really, really good. A testament of, obviously, modern day directors and stuff like this, and obviously it's spurred from the books. It's kind of part of the way seeing The Goblet of Fire did get me into the books as well. And to be honest, this is one of the few things out there that I enjoy both. Like, I enjoy the book version and I enjoy the movie version. Maybe that's because where I joined into the books. So it got really weird. I watched Goblet of Fire at the cinema, then went and read Goblet of Fire, the books, and then went back and read them all. So up until when, I don't think the latest one, obviously the later ones had not come out when this is. But yeah, a great story and set, and obviously it has a lot of bonus stuff, which I haven't really had time to go through. But that is it. So that is Look What I've Been Watching. Very diverse set as always. Is there anything you like? Do you agree, disagree with my opinions? Let me know your comments in the section down below. And I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time, and I shall see you in the next one.